Today, I am joined with Trevin and Kade. Trevin is a private label seller who does 7 figures a year. Kade is also a private label seller who learned from his brother, does retail arbitrage. He did retail arbitrage in the past, made some TikToks about it, kind of blew up a little bit, but has recently blown up even more. I believe you've gotten over 80,000 followers in the last few months. So we'll talk a little bit about your content strategy, how you're doing that. You're doing a lot of uncomfortable things like drinking milk and then going snowboarding.
180,000.
He's at 180,000, but recently.
Doubled that.
Yeah, I don't even know you right now. You're probably like 500,000. That's what Taylor said before this call. So, and then we'll talk about private label, how to build a following on Instagram. That's really valuable for Amazon sellers to do. And then they also have been toying around with a new program coming out called the Amazon Influencer Program, where you review products like this knicker right here. And then if someone looks at your video and then buys the product, you get a 5% cut, I believe.
2 to 4.
2 to 4, and you guys are already at, last time I talked to you guys when we were working out in Utah, you guys are at 8,000 a month. Maybe you've surpassed that. And that's pure profit. Unlike when you say you're doing 100K on Amazon a month, you're probably making 10 to 20 G's. With Amazon influencers, if you're doing 8,000, that's in your bank money you got to pay taxes on. So welcome to the Amazon Savages. And I'm joining my co-host right here. Oh, shit. Fuck. I did it right last time. Taylor Jones has done 1.76 million the last 12 months with wholesale. Bootstrapped from nothing, quit his sales job at Xerox, and now is engaged, traveling the world, living the fucking life.
Welcome to the Amazon Savages podcast. Hear the stories of Amazon sellers crushing it in the game and keep up with the latest strategies that are working. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you truly try and work really hard, you will make a ridiculous amount of money selling on Amazon.
Dude, that got me hyped. I'm fired up right now. That was dope.
Heck yeah. So walk us through a little bit about your private label journey, and Kade, welcome to the pod as well.
Thank you guys for having us. We're super excited. Obviously, it's super fun to be able to do a lot of business with my brother, but I'll kind of share a little bit of my journey and then we can dive into Kade's. But I started doing Shopify drop shipping back in 2016. So one of my good buddies, Nate, he was at the retreat that we had, Taylor. He has his own e-commerce brand, and I moved into the same kind of condo complex as him. And he started telling me, he's like, I'm selling stuff online. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I want to do the same thing. And it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. And it took, a year of trial and error of trying to make Shopify dropshipping work. And it just didn't. And then one of my other good buddies introduced me to Amazon FBA. And that's when the light bulb just kind of went off. And I was like, man, this solves all my problems. We got fast shipping. We've got Amazon doing the fulfillment. We've got millions of customers. We've got customers that already have trust in the platform. And that's when I kind of dove all in. And long story short, within 6 months, I was able to quit my job and it just started going full time into private label and haven't looked back ever since. And it's been 7 years selling on Amazon, which is kind of crazy. And every single year we're doing anywhere from like 1.2 to 1.4 million on Amazon. And just as of recently, we've been really growing off of Amazon. So we're doing some TikTok shop, we're doing eBay, we're doing my own website. And it's been an amazing journey. It's just been super fun. So appreciate you guys having us.
Heck yeah. And then, so I think we started talking, Trevin, like 3 years ago. And I remember hearing about your brother, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. He's doing this little retail arbitrage thing. He's a little TikTok, like, oh, but Trevin's a big brother, killing on social media. But now Kade's actually passed you up in terms of followers. And so, Kade, do you want to talk about how you've grown your social media following over the years? I know you've done quite a few things, from retail arbitrage to the comfort challenge. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I started doing Amazon like 5-6 years ago. Started with retail arbitrage. And at the time I had a TikTok account. I was posting like these dancing videos and I wore masks because I didn't want people to know who I was. And then I was like, I'm not getting any monetary
I want to
value.
see Trevin dance, bro. Like, it's got to be in
right?
the genes. Like the way you dance. I can see Trevin get some alcohol in him or something and just throw him down.
No, the only time that I go hard on the dance floor is silent disco. So this is a true story. We went on a cruise. It was me, my wife, and my in-laws and my parents. So the 6 of us. And I've never gone so hard on the dance floor before with silent disco. And they were like, who is this guy? They're like, this guy's insane. So if you guys have ever done silent disco, it's one of the funnest. Like, everyone is wearing headphones and you don't hear, like, it's just from the headphones, and as soon as you take them off, it's just silent and people are just singing. It's awesome. That's the only time I dance. Other than that, he's the dancer.
So wait, does it just sound like
everyone's like singing and it sounds horrible?
So off tune, but it's fun.
I've started humming a lot more when I dance. It's something I feel like, I don't know, it's my evolution of dance. Like when I salsa dance, I found myself humming because I hum because I don't know the fucking words. I don't speak Spanish well enough to like understand the salsa lyrics. So I'll just be like, and I'm like, if someone put a mic up to me right now, I'd probably sound so stupid. Like,
that's great.
Anyway, Kate, I cut you off.
Yeah, like the Kade story.
So yeah, I was posting these like dancing videos, and then I was like, I'm gonna pivot. Started posting retail arbitrage videos and teaching people how to do retail arbitrage. Did that for about a year or two, and then transitioned retail arbitrage into private label. Learned from Trev. Had a lot of ups and downs, but I've been doing that full time for the last 3 years, and it's been amazing. So once I kind of stopped doing retail arbitrage, I also stopped posting retail arbitrage videos. And I transitioned into these uncomfortable challenges where I intentionally made myself uncomfortable. I went through this period of my life where I felt like I was in a rut, like I wasn't growing and I wasn't excelling. And so I was like, I need to just leave my comfort zone. So I started doing one thing every day to get out of my comfort zone, and have just been posting content about just improving every aspect of your life by leaving the comfort zone. And that's how I've grown my social media, just doing uncomfortable things.
That's been awesome, man. And like Gary Vee's talking about how hard Instagram is to get views right now.
Yeah.
But dude, you've cracked it. Like you're getting, way more views than everyone else. And it's because you're posting good shit,
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Any tips on that? Like how to, if you want to do like a challenge or something, how are you making sure the content's engaging?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. A lot of people think that I was just like this instant success. Like I just grew my Instagram like crazy, but I spent like 4 years posting every day on TikTok and just learned how content works. And I was just like posting all of these videos and seeing, okay, this is working, this isn't working. And then I had my TikTok actually get taken down wrongly. It's a long story. TikTok thought I did something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. They just deleted it randomly with no warning. And so I was like, okay, I've got all this great content from my TikTok. I might as well repurpose it on Instagram. So I took all like my viral videos on TikTok and put them on Instagram. And I did grow pretty quickly, but it's because of the work that I put in the past of just grinding, being consistent, posting every day and learning from my mistakes and doing that over and over.
Mm-hmm. What general principles have you learned that work for your type of content, at least? Like good hooks? Like, does it have to be a specific topic? Does it have to be something weird?
No, I would say for me, I always try and find something that my audience can relate with, something that when they see, they can connect with themselves. So like one of my most popular types of videos are me dancing in my car, where like I love dancing. And I think everybody loves to sing and dance in the car. And I'll pull up to a stoplight and someone will be next to me, and everybody's natural instinct is to stop, like, because you don't want to be seen dancing in the car and having a good time. And so I was like, I'm going to get uncomfortable and I'm going to dance even harder. Like, I do not care what these people think next to me. And I have all these videos of these like funny reactions of people like looking at me like, what is this guy doing? And people can relate to that. They're like, I totally am like that in the car. And like, why should I care about what other people think about? So just trying to find things that like people can relate to and connect with. Just posting fun, engaging stuff that people will comment on.
I'm going to add to that as well. He was very creative and started targeting specific artists. So as he was in the car, he was listening to one specific artist and he was trying to get their attention. And he was making it kind of a challenge of, hey, I'm going to dance until Jason Derulo notices me. And so that was your first one. Yeah. And I don't know how long it took, but he finally noticed him and he commented and he got Jason Derulo's attention. Then he got Chris Brown's attention. And so I think that was another thing that like that's a large like feat, like to get somebody that famous to like pay attention to you. And I feel like that was another kind of cool twist that he added to it, because all the comments were blowing up at Jason Derulo, at Chris Brown, and getting that engagement is also crucial.
Did you tell them to comment his name or did they just do it?
A little bit of both. I would say like, this is my goal. And I would say like, tag Jason Derulo, and kind of brought people on the experience with me where they wanted it just as bad as I did. And I created this like following of people who are like, Kade needs to get his attention. And so, yeah, the comments were just blown up with getting his attention, which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing, or actually you guys have a lot in common. Obviously you guys are brothers, but you guys have learned that attention equals money. And a lot of Amazon sellers, I feel like that lesson is definitely true, but they don't really internalize it because Jeff Bezos gave them the attention. So on the listings, they already have, 10,000 eyeballs a month, and maybe it's selling 500 a month. We have the data and the data is just telling us, hey, there's a lot of attention here and there's a lot of sales coming from that. So the thing I like about the way you think, Trevin, and I think this works for all your businesses when it comes to Amazon influencer, you're doing the same thing that booksellers are doing. We're buying a book, we're listing on Amazon. It's already got proven sales history. Someone buys it, we get the money. With the Amazon influencer program, you're just taking a video and you're putting it on a listing that already has those eyeballs, and that's getting X number of sales a month. You post that video there. If somebody clicks the video and then buys, you get your 2% cut, whatever. Same thing with private label. You've thought about it in that way where you're looking for and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're looking for products that have enough attention but not enough competition yet, but they need that attention component to it. So I think a lot of flippers, like a lot of arbitrage people, whether they're booksellers or retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, are a little bit scared of the private label aspect because they don't know if they have the ability or intuitiveness or just knowingness to get a product that will actually work. So if you want to talk a little bit about like what does make a winning product, and can somebody who's just got like maybe $5,000 on the side, is it a good investment for them to like even play around with that?
Yeah, it's a interesting thing that I've seen across the board in different Facebook groups, YouTube videos, social media. And it's this connotation that private label is this big, scary beast that nobody wants to touch with a 10-foot pole. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's so scary. And I'm going to lose all this money and I just can't even do it. And it's like, I don't know like where that has been instilled in people's brains, because like, and maybe it's just because all I know is private label. I didn't start with arbitrage. I didn't start with wholesale. I just dove into the private label. And now that I know what I know, I'm like, it's not big, bad, and scary like people think it is. Like, it's a very similar concept and process to wholesale, to arbitrage, to books. The only thing that's different is where you're actually getting the product from. And the research is kind of similar, but it's different at the same time. Because obviously, like you said, you're trying to fill the holes in the market, where like with wholesale and arbitrage, it's the market's already there. You're just trying to find those products. And so basically the whole goal and the cool thing with Amazon is we have the data. We have everything right in front of us to know, hey, does this have potential or not? Should I avoid this or should I pursue it? And to me, it's pretty simple. It's like a math equation. If you just plug in the right numbers, you'll get the equation right. But if you obviously plug in the wrong numbers, or if you have the wrong equation, you'll get the problem wrong. And so with private label, yeah, trying to find the demand. So the keyword search volume is kind of the main thing that we're looking at, is what are people searching for? Then from there, we study the competition. And what's crazy is there's AI tools out right now that make things so easy in terms of like, this is where most people struggle, is differentiating and improving the product of like, okay, well, I found this opportunity. Well, like, how can I come to market with something better? Well, there's a tool called Shoelix. And basically you can just pull all the reviews from all of your competition, and it just pulls in and analyzes it. And it will literally tell you step by step, hey, this is what you should improve. This is what you should change. This is what you should add. Here's the improvements. And it's taking it from the review data. And so again, you're making those decisions based on like actual like customer.
The market's telling you.
Exactly. So it's not as scary as what people think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And then I don't want to jump too much to the influencer program, but that has me really excited. Taylor, do you have any questions about private label? I know you've kind of messed with it a little bit.
Not private label specifically, but I think it's really cool how close you guys are as brothers, and how, like, Trevin, you've been able to teach him private label, and Kade, now you're probably teaching Trev about Instagram, and how you guys have been able to help each other. And I just think that's awesome. And I got to come to Trevin's mastermind in Salt Lake back just, I don't know, 2 months ago. I don't even remember though.
Yeah. Trevin, you got to do the next challenge with him, I feel like, and just collab on all the reels together and both y'all's followers.
I think that was really cool how you guys are doing business together. And I just think that that's such a great, you guys are such a great role model for other people looking and on that have brothers. And I think it also goes to show the power of, even if you don't have a brother, the power of what networking can do if you really just allow yourself to invest in that and get close to a couple good people that, like, for example, Trevin, like you'd met Nate, and the cool thing about Nate is he's just this humble guy from humble beginnings his dad wouldn't even give him $500 and now is blown up to this huge, massive business. And you got
we lost him.
Costa Rica problems.
Costa Rica Wi-Fi. I'll come back in just a
He's
second.
probably still talking and doesn't even realize.
Yeah, he probably is. Yeah, but you guys.
But I mean, I can add to kind of what he's saying and kind of finish out. Hopefully, I finish what he's thinking. But yeah, going back to the story of Nate, is a good buddy of mine, and he's just crushing it, starting from nothing, and now I'm a really good friend with him, and being able to have that connection and that contact and be able to have somebody to go to for questions and help. Like, I go to him for Shopify help. He comes to me for Amazon help, and we're able to help one another. And it's the same thing with me and my brother. We're just able to help each other. And it makes it so much easier when you do have people to bounce ideas off of, because when you try to go do it yourself and you're just in your own world in your office behind a screen, like, things get really tough and things get lonely. And when you do face those problems, like, the first response is like, you go to some peers that obviously don't have, they don't align with you. They don't support you. And they just basically say, oh yeah, see, I was right. You're wrong. You're a failure. You're a loser. You should just give up, throw in the towel, go back to your 9-to-5, or go back doing whatever you were doing. But when you surround yourself with like-minded individuals, life and business is so much easier.
Sorry, we have
he just answered your question that he didn't even know you asked. So
we have a thunderstorm here, so I think we just lost power. But
yeah, did that happen to me? Remember when we were at that house in Costa Rica? Like, it was literally like not even that crazy, and then all of a sudden the most crazy like lightning comes out of nowhere, and you wouldn't have thought it was going to happen, and then my YouTube live just ended. Like, it was over.
Dang.
What were you going to say though, Taylor?
No, I think that was kind of the end of my point. I just think that was like a really, like, I think that's awesome that you guys have that.
Yeah, something I'll add to what he was just saying is I would not be where I am without Trev. And he's just like been the biggest help to me. I mean, he's been my best friend ever since we were little. And it's cool now that, like, we're older to, like, transition our lives into this business and to learn from him. And he's been there through my business journey every step of the way. And like Trev said, it's so much about who you know and not everything about what you know.
Yeah. And like I know Tim Soros has said this a lot. Like, once you build that network of people, even if it just starts with 1, 2, 3 people that are all dedicated to growth and success, like, you can't lose. It's an upward spiral. Like, you could fall on your face 10 times. You could claim bankruptcy. As long as you don't give up and you have these people that, all believe in each other. So yeah, I think that's really cool.
Well, I've seen that with you, both Taylor and Avery. Like, I feel like you guys have this brotherly bond, and you guys have been through it, through thick and thin, and you guys have gone through your fair share of trials and ups and downs, and look where you're at. You're coming up on top. So I think it's very important to surround yourself with like-minded people. That's obviously why, like, these conferences, the Miami Sailor Conference, like, getting yourself in front of people that have those similar mindsets and creating those relationships, it's invaluable.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Like, the beginning of last year, I was like fronting orders for Taylor. I was like paying the invoices ahead, and he's like, I pay you in a week. I'm like, whatever, man. Like, I don't care. And then towards the end of the year, like, the tables had turned, and like, he helped me so much because my Amazon account was shut down. Like, I had no income, and Taylor, you really helped me with that. So, you know,
and that's and I mean, we started an event, but Avery and I met through TikTok, And like if that's scary to go on social media and message people, if you guys are watching this, all you got to do is pay a few $100, get it to an event, and you're going to be surrounded by 150, 200 people. And like, it's not that hard to make one friend.
There any events coming up?
One friend will pay 10x, 100x for 1,000x.
Just pick wisely. Pick someone that's like 2 steps ahead of you.
Yeah, you never know how it's going to work out either. Like you might talk to somebody and just like talk about the craziest things that, don't even relate to Amazon. And then months later, you guys are doing a big deal together,
Yeah. So cool. Well, should we go in? You guys,
Miami Sellers Conference. Commit to expanding your network by.
Anyway, I didn't make a video for that one. But if you guys want, we're talking about networking. MiamiSellersConference.com. Get your tickets. Trevin and Kade will both be there sharing a lot of what we're talking about today, but more in depth. And also, if you guys want to check out Trevin's YouTube channel, I'll link it below. So if you guys are interested in learning like more in depth about private label, he's got a lot of videos for beginners. So we'll link a couple of those below. And yeah, like where do we want to go with this? I really want to talk about the influencer program, but Taylor, do you have any more questions?
I have more questions, but I feel like you guys should tease the audience about the influencer program. Or do you want to go do an in-depth thing? Because you're going to do an in-depth thing at Miami, or what do you think?
Yeah, we can tease it.
I think
it's
really good. Be like, hey, you guys gotta come to the event if you want to know more.
Yeah. Before we even tease it, I do want to like touch on the power of going to events. Like that has been huge for me. Paying to just go to these like conferences, going to these like retreats. Like you meet the most amazing people there, and like you learn so much. But what's been most beneficial for me in going to all these types of conferences is who you meet. So I'm stoked for like the Miami conference to just meet all these people. Like you get to this room and you don't know anybody, and everybody is so different, but everybody has a desire to be better and to learn more. And that alone just creates like a powerful room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw my story today, but there was this guy, he prank calls Zoom meetings. So like he'll somehow end up like in a corporate Zoom meeting or like a group interview or something. And this guy's just running down the street shirtless, like David Goggins style. He's like, the energy, I'm in the main room right now. He's like, you got to pick the energy up. Pick the energy. He's like, I'm a higher elevation right now. We need 2 more notches in this room. And then I screen recorded it. And I posted it. I'm like, this is me, Taylor, Tim Soros, and Amazon Lit. Trevin, you know how we get at the event. Yep. I feel like Kade's gonna be on the same wave. Like, let's go.
Let's go, dude. I'm all in.
Yeah. It's really good.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Okay, so yeah, we can now tease a little bit about the Amazon Influencer Program. It's a newer program that Amazon created where they allow these influencers to create these review videos of their Amazon products. These videos get put on the Amazon listing, so you don't have to drive any traffic as an influencer. And every time the video is watched and the product is bought, you get a commission. So it's the easiest way to make money. Of every investment, every business, every side hustle that me and Trev have done, there is nothing that has been easier and as lucrative as the Amazon Influencer Program.
You're not putting any money up.
Yeah.
No capital required.
No capital required.
And it's so funny. People are always like, oh, there's capital required. You have to get the products to review. And it's like, no, you review products that you already have at your house. So like, I mean, you can see just in my backdrop, every single product there's bought or sold on Amazon, and I can review it. And so as long as the product is sold on Amazon, it doesn't matter where you bought it, whether you bought it from Walmart or Target, doesn't matter. Or if you go to a friend's house or family member's house, you can review those products. So it's literally taking your phone, making a simple 60-second review video, upload it, and boom, it's insane. And the success that we've had, the success that we've helped hundreds of people have, like our sister actually just quit her 9-to-5 job thanks to this program, which is just insane to me. Like, in 4 months, she started it. And I think in November and December, she was doing 12 to 14, 15 grand
14 grand in
profit in one single month after 4 months of work. So it's like,
and not having to invest any money.
Yeah, it's insane.
Wow. And it seems like this is a pretty early opportunity right now. Like it's not like super like, you know.
Yeah, most people don't know about it. And when we talk about it, people are like, okay, that's a scam. That's way too good to be true.
Yeah, yeah.
The people who are like, all right, I'm going to try it, quickly realize like, okay, this is legit.
It's one of those things that like back in 2015, 2016, when Amazon was going crazy and you could get 1,000 reviews and you could like it was so easy to just slap up any product and it would just sell. Like that's kind of the opportunity that we're seeing with the Amazon influence program. Maybe not as lucrative, but like the barrier to entry and the success, and like, yes, it does sound too good to be true, but like it's not. Like we're living proof and we've seen it. Like it's funny, 90% of our family is doing it. So we've got my mother-in-law, we've got my 3 sister-in-laws, we've got my brother, sister, my other brother, like everyone is doing it. Like it's insane. 90% of our family, and I think we have between my 2 families, there's like 15 or 16 of us. So like over 12 of us are taking advantage of this program. And that just shows like it's as legit as it gets.
And one
Yeah, I
thing,
guess what constitutes being an influencer? Like, can anyone do this, or do you have to have a social media following?
so there definitely is like requirements of what like the steps that you need to do in order to get approved. But it's not like anything crazy. You don't need to be an influencer. Like they use the term influencer, but you don't need to be an actual influencer to get approved. You basically just need to be like a legit resident in the US and have a social media account just to prove to Amazon that you're not a robot, essentially.
I mean, we've seen people get approved with as few as a couple hundred, a couple thousand followers. Like I see things on Facebook groups and YouTube videos of like, hey, you need to have 10,000 followers or subscribers to get approved. And I don't know where people are getting these numbers. And the only thing that I can think of is like they're trying to make it so that they don't want other people to join. And they're just trying to make it seem like this thing that's not attainable to the average person. But in reality, like the people that we work with, they are everything. Like they are average. Like they're not anything special. They're not your, again, typical, I say Kim Kardashian influencer. They're just normal everyday people like you guys and us. But yes, I mean, the more followers you have, the easier it is to get approved, but that's just kind of one step to the process.
Like, what does your family? What do your family do?
What do you mean?
Because I mean, are all 12 of you? Y'all all have like semi decent social media followings, or
No? Well, that's what I'm
Not at
saying is
all.
you don't need to have thousands of followers. Like
Our sister-in-law had 300 followers
Yeah.
and like 5 posts, and
Nice.
we helped her like kind of build it a little bit, but nothing
Yeah.
crazy, and she got approved.
nice.
Wow. Trevin, what's the biggest? So if you guys want to know more, Trevin and Kade are going to be breaking this down step by step at Miami Sellers Conference. Go to that www.miamisellersconference.com. That's www.miamisellersconference.com. And don't miss their talk because it's going to be fire, and you get to come shake their hand and meet both of them. So that's freaking amazing. I'll get to see it again since I went to the mastermind. Trevin, and Kade, actually, this is a question for both of you guys. Trevin, I mean, I know you have a little baby boy, right? That you just had. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you guys are going out of your way for a whole weekend, or you guys are going to probably the kid will probably come.
You know, they're not coming.
Okay. I was going to say, so perfect. Lines up my question perfect then. So you're going to be leaving your family in Utah to come all the way out here and speak at the event. It's not even like we're paying you anything crazy. Can you guys maybe share selfishly, personally, maybe we've already touched on this, but what is the biggest takeaway that you guys get coming to an event like this?
Yeah, for me, every time I go to an event, I leave rejuvenated and charged up and just more motivated to go back and get back to the grind. Like I was talking about earlier, when we're in our office behind the screen, we get caught up in the day to day, and it's like, it's a grind. And when you try to do everything on your own and you don't have that personal one-on-one touch with people and humans and other people that are thinking like you, it's draining, it's exhausting. And so for me, I go and it gets me fired up, and I get super motivated. And then obviously making those connections and making those contacts and meeting individuals. Like I have a fantastic relationship with Amazon Lit now because of the Miami Sellers Conference. And that has led me to now speaking at his event just a few days before the Miami conference. So it's things like that put me in contact with these, I call them big dogs, these top guys, these top sellers, people that are crushing it, doing 7, 8, 9 figures with their businesses. And to be able to go get a vacation. Like Miami's dope. Like love going to Miami, good food, good vibe, great weather. And then you get the business aspect. Like for me, it's a win-win-win across the board. So it brings me business to my current businesses. It motivates me. Like the list goes on of why.
That's awesome. And Kade, what about you?
For me, I feel like at my age, what I'm trying to do as much as possible is just invest in myself, learn from people. And it seems like every time me and Trev put on an event and we speak, or whenever we go to an event and we listen, I get almost just as much out of it, whether I'm the one like in charge or speaking, or if I'm the one just listening and taking it in. So it's like, it's just so much fun to be in those environments and meet so many people. And we and Trev also always like remind ourselves to have an abundant mentality, and that like there's so much money to be made for everyone, and to not have that scarcity mindset and just share, you know, what we know. Like we're blessed with the knowledge of what we have learned. And so with that, we need to share it with other people so that they can take advantage of it as well.
That's awesome.
Man, I would love for you to meet Austin Hustles. Have you been following him?
Yes, you've seen, he's the one that does the unethical ways to make money.
Yeah.
Have you seen him?
I don't know if I've seen him.
I'll show him. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, I think him and Kade would get along really well, because like he's just like obsessive about social media. And I'm not sure how obsessive you are, but you're definitely doing a really good job of it. But he is just like, when you talk to him, he's kind of like Mr. Beast. Like that kid, I promise you, 10 years, he's going to be like huge.
Cool.
Like huge. But he's just like super obsessive over it. He's only what, 19, 20?
Yeah, he's a young dude.
Really?
Yeah, crushing it.
He like helps Reezy with his videos now. It's crazy.
Cool.
Yes,
And
sir.
he's going to be there?
Yeah, or most likely. He's like actually touring with, I want to say like Patrick Bet-David or something. He's helping someone who's speaking at Patrick Bet-David's events or something along those lines. So he doesn't know if he'll be able to or not yet.
Cool.
So we'll see.
Wow.
But yeah. Have you looked at the speaker lineup, Trevin?
Yes, I have. You guys posted a picture of it a few days ago. You guys didn't tag me, so I didn't repost it. So
Oh, shit. Tag. I think I ran out of tags. I need to start doing that more. I need to start tagging people more. But this week is a week that we're asking all the influencers to post.
Cool.
So I'll definitely tag you in some stuff. And if you want to make like a story post on your own. But I'm excited for you, Trevin, to meet Watch Me Amazon. I don't know if you've met him before.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Super cool.
I
I've seen his stuff on YouTube. I don't know if we've gone back and forth in the DMs or not, but he just seems like a really cool guy that knows his stuff for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we got Vishal. He's doing $800,000 a month as a
He's going to be Mr. Popular.
Who?
Watch Me Amazon.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is like the first year he's coming, whereas other people have came before, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be good.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see everybody in the same room. I'm just pumped to see everyone there, you know. Anyone else stick out to you on the speaker lineup that maybe you haven't met before?
I'm excited to meet Reezy. I think I did a podcast or YouTube video with him. It was like a group of like 6 of us, and I met him on that. But other than that, I haven't met him or talked to him much, but love his journey, love seeing what he's about. And it'll be good to connect with Flips for Miles again. Rake and
Last time you saw
Profit.
him, he probably his following is probably like a quarter of the size.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was like the first Miami conference. He was just getting up and going with his kind of Twitter and social media and his business, and he's definitely grown an insane amount over the last couple of years. And that's what's crazy, guys, is I look at the timestamps and like this concept of time, and people are like, oh, 2 years or 3 years is so long to have success. And I'm like, no, dude, that's quick. And like these people come up and I mean, we're all like somewhat relatively new to the game. Like, I mean, 7 years is pretty new. I mean, Taylor, it was 2020.
Yeah, I'm on number 5 right now.
Yeah, like it's crazy like how relatively quick you can actually see so much success, and you look at the people that have done it and you kind of want to model them. You kind of want to replicate what they're doing and follow what they're doing, because they obviously have the blueprint. So connecting with those individuals is huge.
Yeah, we all teach each
Great.
other.
Yeah, Miles.
Different ways. Like Miles has taught me so much. Miles and Warner, like what they're doing with social media, they just like I feel like they kind of like laid out what you're supposed to do as an Amazon like influencer, as a teacher in the Amazon space. Like they're posting every day, very basic things for beginners, more in-depth content. Then they have a course if you want to join it. They're doing weekly Zoom calls for free. Then they have paid Zoom calls. It's like I think they're like the hardest workers in the space right now. And so seeing them come from like really nothing and grow over the years, and they've taught me so much, and then the really exciting thing is there's going to be a lot more like miniature versions of them at this event. So it's like a breeding ground for talent in the Amazon space. And you have no idea who those kids are going to be. It could be the kid that has 0 sales or the kid that has 10,000, but give them 5 years and they're going to come at an angle that none of us would have ever expected when it comes to creating content or approaching Amazon or something. And we're going to be like, whoa, they just shifted the whole market in a sense, like this way. And it's definitely like a ground that attracts like all these high level people. And even if they're not high level yet, like they're going to be in the future, so that's what I love about it.
Yeah. Super cool stuff.
Exciting.
Kade, it's been really cool to watch your journey and all the recent content that you've been making. If you had to, I know that a lot of it comes back to like, doing things that make you uncomfortable. If you had to pin like one major theme or concept, like your lesson that you've learned through that whole journey, by just doing things that, that make you uncomfortable, what would you say the biggest lesson that you've learned is?
That I could go off and off, so I'll try my best to articulate it. I would say I've learned that nothing great in this life has ever or will ever be achieved inside the comfort zone. It doesn't matter what type of goal you have, if it's emotional, physical, spiritual, it doesn't matter what you're trying to achieve in life. Nothing great comes while being comfortable. And something that I've learned from it as well is the more you can get uncomfortable, the more you increase discipline in your life. And so like if someone can get uncomfortable, let's say like working out, like doing like these hard workouts, you obviously don't want to do it, but you're uncomfortable. You're developing this discipline. When you develop discipline in one aspect of your life, it carries over into all aspects. So like if you're trying to be excel in business, for example, there's going to be days when you don't want to do something. And there's going to be days when you're tired and you're like, just the last thing you want to do is work. Those are the days that are the most important to work, to do the things that you don't want to do, because that's what separates successful people from unsuccessful people, is they're good at doing the things that no one else is going to do. So that's what I would leave it at, is getting uncomfortable is the only way to truly see success in whatever aspect of your life.
Dude, I want you to go to a D1 wrestling room and make it through the whole practice.
Dude, I would love to do that.
Jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is hard, but like level wise, it's like down here compared to
Yeah.
your heart and how your body feels afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
just go to like Iowa or something. Go to like the toughest.
Dude, I would love to. I don't know if you guys saw this last weekend. I went on a retreat with the Iron Cowboy. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that. Remind me what happened again.
Iron Cowboy, he's I truly believe he's the toughest man on the planet. He did 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 states.
Oh my gosh.
So like before him, the record for like the most Ironmans was like 6 in a year or something.
Is it Iron Cowboy James?
Yeah, Iron Cowboy. And then he did 50 in 50 days in 50 states. And then 3 years later, he did 100 Ironmans in 100 days. So like it's hard to fully grasp how amazing of a feat this is. But long story short, he's like just freaking amazing. I went on this retreat with him this last weekend, and we did like an MMA fighting.
What's his background? Actually, his ears are pretty fucked up. What's his
he's a wrestler in high school.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Wow.
Kade says that he's tougher and stronger than David Goggins. And like, there's an argument to be made. This guy is insane. And again, going back to the topic of paying to get into these rooms with individuals, Kade paid a good chunk of money to go to this event, to be with this guy. And now he's got this relationship with this guy that's honestly a beast. Like, he's insane. So it's pretty cool. So Iron Cowboy is a big inspiration for both of us, more so Kade, but It was cool to see.
He was like the main reason why I started my uncomfortable journey. I went to a seminar 2 years ago and heard him speak, and he just spoke about how he was able to accomplish this incredible feat, and is because he became comfortable with being uncomfortable. And he asked the audience the question, when was the last time you intentionally made yourself uncomfortable? And like when I heard that, I was like, why would anybody make themselves uncomfortable? And then he dove into, when you can intentionally seek discomfort, you become comfortable with being uncomfortable. So that way, when life happens and all this problems, all these struggles come, you know how to handle it, because being uncomfortable isn't anything new. So it's cool. 2 years later, I've gone through this crazy uncomfortable journey, and then I was able to go to one of his retreats, meet him, and have a relationship with him, and like personally thank him for how much he's changed my life with challenging me to be uncomfortable.
Is there anything in your life that used to be really uncomfortable for you, but now it's not? And it doesn't have to be directly from the uncomfortable challenge, but just something. For me personally, like I used to hate salsa dancing. I only salsa danced because it was difficult. And I was like, let me try this for a month to get over it. And then I actually really liked it. And now it's like more of a temptation than like an uncomfortable thing to go do. Have you experienced anything like that where you're like, I can't believe I thought that used to be uncomfortable?
100%, dude. Like I see it like in every aspect of my life. I mean, like dancing in the car, for example.
Yeah.
Like, the first time I did that, my heart was like racing. And then after I did it, I was like, that wasn't bad. Something I learned is being uncomfortable is never as bad, nor does it last as long as your brain makes it out to be. So like I would like go and lay down in public, just like lay down on the floor, and people would like walk by.
Where'd you get that one from? Did you get that one from Tim Ferriss?
Tim
Ferriss. Yeah, Tim Ferriss has like in his book, The 4-Hour Work Week. He's like, just go lay down. I never did it. I used to go to grocery stores when I was like in 5th grade because I had social anxiety, and I would just talk to people. Like, I would just be like, all right, I'm going to ask someone, hey, where's the lettuce? Oh, all right. Like,
yeah.
And then I was like, I cannot go lay down in this Starbucks right now. Maybe if like I do weird shit if my friends are watching, but just by myself, you know,
it's a different experience for sure.
Yeah, it's totally different. But I'm the same way. It's so easy for me to be a complete goofball in public, like because I'm like, oh, my friends are here, or Diana's here, like, oh, like I have validation. But on your own, it's totally different because it's like people might actually think like I'm a schizo or something.
It is. Yeah, and so like. And everyone's comfort zone is different. Some people feel comfortable with like being a goofball in public. Some people like it absolutely terrifies them. And so just doing all of these things, like I realized like, man, why is this a fear of mine? And so like I've overcome them. And I wouldn't say like they're no longer a fear. It's like, it's still hard. Like getting in an ice bath is still hard for me. But like the more you do it, as you guys know, the easier it becomes. And so just the more you can like get uncomfortable, just the easier it does become.
I remember.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I remember reading the 4-Hour Work Week. This was back in I don't know, it was like 22 or 23, and I'm like, okay, I have to go to the mall. I have to get 10 girls' numbers, and I had never done that, and it was the worst 10 back-to-back rejections of my entire life. I'll never forget the first girl. I was like, excuse me, you know, and it took me like 3 or 4 before I even started talking. And I asked her for a number. She's like, no, like, just like, absolutely. Like,
that's amazing.
Oh, it was terrible. But then by the 10th one, I'm like, I actually don't care anyways.
Right.
What's that fear part of the brain? It's called the reticular. Yeah. And then there's also the reticular activation system or something where like, it's like, you focus on something that scares you. And so I think there's 2 different types of uncomfortable. One is like kind of physical, like a wrestling practice that's hard is always going to suck. You're probably always going to be like, fuck, I just want to get the fuck out of here at some point. Yeah, it might be fun the first 2 minutes, but 6 minutes in, you're like, this is terrible. Yeah. If you're live wrestling, ice baths always suck. I don't care who you are. Like ice baths suck. If it doesn't suck for you, like turn the temperature down. Eventually it will suck. Like those are always going to be hard. But then there's like the subjective hard things like dancing or even public speaking. I would say like at a certain point you start to actually like public speaking when you get good at it, you know, or just everything like where your brain is focusing on this fake outcome of, oh, I'm going to die or I'm going to be so embarrassed or this or that. But you can actually obliterate those and those just evaporate. And I think that's a really cool thing about the human brain, but you never give your body or mind the chance to conquer that if you don't go through. And the truth is like you always think the monster in the closet's worse than it is.
For sure.
You know, even if you get rejected 20 times, who gives a fuck? Eventually, if you get rejected 100 times, like your brain's going to go, all right, whatever. I didn't die. And I think that's
You
what your
only need
brain
one
thought
yes.
might have happened.
And
You don't even need a yes. I would argue you don't even need a yes. You just need to you just need to get over the irrational fear that you would die. I think your animal actually thinks you might die.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting. Like, there's no way to get out of overcoming that fear other than actually doing it. So it's the only way to do it. Like, you would have never had that experience with those rejections and getting those girls' number unless you actually did it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just part of life. You just gotta get uncomfortable. But to answer your question of what aspects of my life I've overcame, I would say the not caring about what other people think of me. I can just live my life how I want to and not really care what other people think about my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I actually believe if you scan people's brains, with the MRI, there's a couple different states your brain could exist in. And one of the states, so much energy is dedicated to what do other people think about me. And if you're dancing, for example, on the dance floor, and your brain is thinking, what is that person thinking? What is that person thinking? What is that? What am I moving right? Blah, blah, blah. That's energy and attention not put into your body actually dancing or to the girl you're dancing with. You're using resources that aren't there. So I guarantee if you would have MRI'd that person's brain versus MRI'd the person's brain of they're completely present in the moment. They've been through the fear. They've done the thing that scared them over and over again. And it shut off all those extra neural pathways that were dedicated to plan Bs essentially, or I'm scared of this happening, And so it's just a different brain state, and it's really cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I always tell people you wouldn't care about what people thought of you if you knew how seldom they actually do. What you're saying, everybody in the room is thinking, what are people thinking of me? No one's actually thinking of you. They're thinking about themselves. Yeah. And so it's powerful to just not care.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, people just need to get over themselves a lot of the time and stop crying and stop blaming other people and making excuses for their problems and just own up to the fact that it's hey, I got to take out accountability and I got to go out and make it happen. And I think that this topic is so relevant to business. We're talking about crazy stuff, wrestling, doing 1,000 pull-ups, getting in ice baths, but it all comes back to business. If you can be disciplined and if you can be uncomfortable in those situations, well, business is 10 times harder. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of Alex Hormozy talking about being an entrepreneur. And he's being an entrepreneur sucks. It's just getting kicked in the nuts every single day. And then every once in a while you'll have a glimmer of good, but then back to getting kicked in the nuts. And it's that's what it is. And so if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to go out and aspire to these large things and be a millionaire or be a multi-millionaire, or whatever the goals are, you're going to have to go through some stuff that makes you very uncomfortable, that you don't want to do, but you have to if you want that end result. And so it's funny when we have this conversation, it's just, it hits home so much for me, because obviously I help hundreds of people start businesses and try to start businesses. And obviously there's so many people that fail, and it's because of this exact concept, because they're just not willing to go and do the hard things. And it's as simple as that. If you just go in and do enough reps, and if you just do those hard things enough, eventually you will have the success, but people are not willing to do it. And then, to be honest, it kind of makes me mad. When people want to say, oh, poor me, and oh, that life sucks and I'm so miserable, and this, I don't really feel bad for you, because every single person that has success went through exactly what you're going through. They just overcame it.
Mm-hmm. And I think identifying that fearful state and saying good to it. Oh, this is good. If, for example, you go to Miami Sellers Conference and for some reason you're a little nervous, you're not even speaking, but there's so many people around, you're not doing much in sales, and you have this oh, why am I nervous? Nobody else is nervous, or I shouldn't be nervous. I need to do a lot of networking this weekend. If I'm nervous, I'm going to fuck it up. It's going to be terrible. And then you're in this negative thought pattern versus the nerves coming up and being oh, fuck, this is good. This is an uncomfortable challenge now. Oh shit, I'm David Goggins does that. He'll go to the gym and he'll be what exercise do I want to do the least? And he'll be warming up on the elliptical, and he'll be I just want to get to my hard workout. And he's wait, I want to get off this elliptical right now. And then he's oh, the elliptical thing is the hard thing. And he's let's ramp it up, motherfucker. Let's go. And he's just getting after it. I think it's a very powerful way to combat the bitch brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the moment you realize, like, when you feel those feelings of fear, anxiety, like and you can turn it into a positive, that's when you become unstoppable. I always tell people the best time to do something is when you least want to do it. So like you wake up in the morning, the last thing you want to do is get out of bed. That's like, you just got to get out of bed. Like you don't want to go to the gym. That's when you need to go to the gym. Like the days when you like just feel sick and tired, those are the most important days to go to the gym, because that's when you can train your mind. Like when you're at the gym, you're not just training your body, you're training your mind. So when you can do those things that you don't want to do, and the moments that you least want to do it, that's when like your mind just becomes unstoppable.
Yeah. There's a feeling of not wanting to do something, and that feeling may come up, at a networking event, before you get in the ice bath, before you hit that 15th rep at the gym, at wrestling practice, wherever it might come up. It's just a feeling. What is your relationship with that feeling? Are you going to push through, or when that feeling arises, do you go away? And if you always go away from it, whatever's on the other side of that feeling is going to grow huge subjectively. And especially in business, if you always run from that feeling of, I don't want to do this, business is so subjective that the fear can get so big. And if you say, I can't do that, I'm not capable of this, that, and you keep turning down these things that you're a little bit scared of, the uncomfortable conversations you didn't want to have in business, all of a sudden those become fucking dinosaurs. And they could have just been nothing. They could have been rewarding if you would have just pursued them. And then after a while, they wouldn't even be scared anymore.
I feel like it'd be really fun to do like I don't know what it's called, like a parody, or like like people make funny videos of Gary Vee and like they make fun of people. It would be really funny to do like a 30-day comfortable challenge. Today I slept until 1 PM because it was so comfortable. Today,
the opposite. That would be great. Hey, we should all do an uncomfortable challenge in Miami.
Let's do it. Think of one.
I'm fighting someone on the beach, so Levi's getting his ass whooped by me. Yeah, I'm gonna do jujitsu against him on the beach.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really good at grappling. I don't think he knows how good I am, and so he thinks I'm just a wrestler. But we're gonna go at it. And he'll fucking lay down with his legs in the air, and I'm just gonna go on top. And I'm not gonna punch him, no, but we're gonna get after it. And I'm gonna bring boxing gloves too. We're gonna get boxing gloves, and I don't know. It's gonna be a fun time, right, Taylor?
Hell yeah. MiamiSellersConference.com. That's www.miamisellersconference.com.
All right. And we'll link both their socials below. If you want to go follow Kade and his Uncomfortable Challenge, we'll put his IG, Trevin's YouTube channel below. Much love, guys. And see you guys at Miami Sellers Conference.
Thank you.